It's Halloween, kids. Hello, welcome to Hood Gotham Healing Insights. This is a Halloween edition. Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. I would love to have you here. Today, I have a very juicy, terrifying, gut-wrenching, squeamish story to tell ya. You know, in the spirit of Halloween. Tonight, we're gonna get a little spooky. We're gonna talk about a time where I was energetically, spiritually, and physically harassed by an evil entity. It's true. I think it would be a great story to tell. It goes perfect with the times. Okay, so when I was younger, around the age of 3, my family and I lived in an apartment in the hood, right? I hated those apartments where we stayed at. I was always on high alert, even though I was really young. I was just very aware and very tapped into my surroundings, and I was very open because children are open. My parents were separated, so it was just my mom taking care of my sister, my brother, and I. And my dad was being a dickhead and neglecting his responsibilities as a father. So he was out and about doing whatever the hell he was doing. And my mom was taking care of us. So I remember always being uncomfortable. I remember being on high alert all the time. And, you know, you never knew what was going to happen. Because during that area in my life, everything was just all over the place. It was in shambles. It was stressful, and it was very tense. And I just remember as a child being my nerves would always be flared up because I just felt like I had to really overcompensate for me to feel safe in my body. I remember everything being very unstable, uncertain, and difficult during those times. I was so observant and I knew what was going on. It just made things difficult for me as a little 3-year-old girl, you know, because you don't really understand much, but you know what the hell's going on. You just don't have the vocabulary to communicate it the way you want to communicate it. So I was very smart, artistic. I started drawing around this area. I used to create and, you know, sit in the mirror and draw myself in the mirror. I didn't understand that I was carrying around other people's burdens and other people's energies and stuff like that. So things were just very tense on top of the circumstances that we were living in at that time. Around that time when we was living in that apartment, we had left our townhouse. Things were really, you know, bad, okay? So we moved to this apartment, and my mother said that she would find these golden capsules around the house, you know, just these random golden capsules around the house, just laying around the house, and, you know, they aren't hers. And she's just like, okay, where the hell did these come from? They weren't here when I moved in, you know, stuff like that. She said, you know, she would tell herself these were at the last apartment we just moved away from. So what is this about? She suspected, and she intuitively knew it was my auntie, my dad's sister, because she just did that. She, out of jealousy, she would just fuck with people because she's so miserable that she would just leave her shit at your house, or she'll just come fuck with your car, and just dumb, pathetic shit like that. Well, my mom would tell my dad that, and he wouldn't really listen, and he would just be like, you know, whatever, because he knew how she was. He grew up with her. She's fucking crazy, and he knew that he's just the man, and he's a Christian, and he would just, you know, be like, whatever, you know. He wouldn't really listen to her. So she would keep it pushing. She would keep it moving. My auntie was really jealous of my mother because of her being with my dad, and just, you know, where they come from. They come from a very, you know, small town in Louisiana. They don't see anything. So my mother, she's international, and she just really didn't like that about my mom or something. My mom looks different to people, and they questioned her ethnicity all the time. So it was just like, okay, she had a problem with my mother, and she would fuck with my mother and bully my mother with voodoo, hoodoo, witchcraft, whatever the hell she would do that with. And it was really bad because she would do things to where she would come into the house and she would leave her she would leave her her whatever things there, And it would just cause chaos, and it would cause things to be of dysfunction at our house and in the environment. Plus on top of just what was going on between my mother and my father, all of that all together, you know. My mother, she was getting tired of it, and it was just crazy because it was just unnecessary, and she was just trying to live her life. And it was just something, as a child, me being open, I had to endure the effects of what this specific person, she had caused in my own family. She had caused very negative circumstances where I was in the middle of them, and I couldn't really go to my mother or my father about it because one was out and about and denying it, and one had to really take care of us. So eventually, while living in this apartment, things started to get really weird. Okay, really weird things start happening. And because I was so sensitive and I was so open, whatever it was that my mother suspected, it was my auntie leaving those capsules in our house for whatever the hell she was trying to wreak havoc in our lives for a wound that we didn't cause. I started picking up this thickness and this heaviness in the home, and I was really confused because I was a little girl and I didn't know what the hell to expect. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was just living my 3-year-old little life, and I would pick up this thickness in the air. I would pick up this thickness in the room, and I felt and knew it was something unfriendly, something unpleasant, something that was not in the best interest of me or the people in the home. It would get to the point where I would start tapping into that dimension where that entity was, and it would be able to harass me, and it started fucking with me, and it started bullying me and pushing and influencing my sister and my brother to pick on me, and just, it was relentless, and it made me feel really angry as a little girl. Okay, it made me feel really frustrated, and I was so frustrated during that time that growing up, like not too long ago, I had to, all those emotions that I hadn't processed clearly, I had to really learn where that was coming from in order for me to push that out and really let that go, because it was just, you know, I hated sleeping in that apartment at night because it would be so bad to where it wouldn't leave me alone. It wouldn't leave me alone. It was always fucking with me in my sleep. It was always just messing with me, and I would be just like, what the hell, like, I'm just trying to go to sleep, okay? And these mosquitoes out here are terrible. But anyways, I would be like, what the hell is going on? And it would scare me so bad, you know, to where I would have to jump in the bed with my sister because it was fucking with me so bad, y'all. It was just so bad. I didn't want to tell my mother because I was already estranged in the family, and it was like I always would change out of clothes and put on new clothes every couple of minutes because I knew I was going somewhere or I had somewhere to be, and my mother and my brother and my sister would be like, you know, what the hell are you doing? You're not going anywhere, you know, da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, down the line that had some effects. But it would, the motherfucking, whatever the fucking evil entity's problem with me was, I feel like it was intended to fuck with me more out of my brother and my sister because of how this specific woman is and how she feels about women lighter than her. She has a problem with them, and you know, she feels insecure about them, and it's something that, again, a wound that my mother and I, my family, we did not cause, and she was bleeding on us. She had no right and no fucking reason to be having blood on her hands for something that she needed to heal on her own. So when it came to me sleeping at night, I was always tossing and turning. I never got a good night's rest. I never got a good night's rest. Everything was very tense and chaotic, and I always felt like something messing with me and hovering over me over the bed, and it was just horrible. And it fucked my nerves up as a 3-year-old girl. It's affected me so much to where I still have to, I'm better at it now, but not too long ago, the anxiety was fucking crazy, you know, and it was coming from that part of my life. But the entity was so relentless that it would psychically tell me, if you scream or if you do anything out of pocket, I'm gonna hurt you. I'm going to hurt you. And you're gonna wish you hadn't said anything. So it would go in the hallway, and it would stand in the hallway, and whenever I had to go pee and I needed to go across the hallway to go pee, because the bathroom was like 2 steps away from my door, and it would stand in the hallway and be like, you know, don't come to the bathroom, or I'm gonna hurt you, something bad is gonna happen to you, or you're gonna regret getting up and going to the bathroom. So I would get out of bed, and we had this big white teddy bear on my bed, and I would put the teddy bear in front of my bed and pee on the teddy bear, and it eventually made the house smell like piss because I would be so scared to go to the bathroom. It was bad. It would influence me to curse, and I was at 3 years old, I wasn't really trying to curse. You know, I wasn't the type of kid to curse and say things that I wasn't supposed to be saying, because I knew my mom was gonna beat my ass. And my mother used to scare me so bad when I was so young, because she was just like a raw nerve. You never knew when she was gonna blow up. She was always screaming, she was always shouting, she was always throwing shit. She just was so frustrated, and she would take it out on me and my brother and sister, because she couldn't cope. So she was very abusive, and it was just, I was always scared of her when I was younger. So, you know, I was scared to tell her. So, I mean, and then I was the estranged child, so it was like, well, if I say this or if I tell her this, she's gonna really push me away further even more, and that's it for my safety net. So it came to the point where it was just fucking with me, and I couldn't really do anything about it, and it was just something I had internalized. It had created so much anger and rage within me that it has made me who I am today, because I was so young and so open going through that, and I didn't know what the hell was going on, and it was just crazy. So speed forward, you know, this is continuing to happen, and one night I was in the bed with my mom, and you know, I'm thinking, because I'm sleeping with my mom, everything's okay, I can get a good night's rest, I'm safe. No, I just wake up. You know, when you wake up but you keep your eyes closed, you just chilling in the bed, you just laying down, you know. So I wake up, and I'm awake on the inside, and I end up feeling a shift in the room. I start feeling a shift, and it starts to feel thick and heavy, like really, really thick and heavy. And I'm like, okay. So I open my eyes, and the room is completely blue. Okay, I was on my William Byer shit whenever I thought of this. So I drew y'all some pictures, right, for y'all to see what the hell was going on. Okay, so I'm in bed, and the room is blue. I look outside the window, and I'm like, oh my goodness, why the hell is the room blue? What the hell is going on? And I'm 3 years old. I'm very smart. I'm very aware. And I understand that everything you see, your eyes it's not just blue, okay? It was like this blue sheen over everything. And I'm looking outside, and I'm like, is it the moon? No, it's not the moon. And so then I'm like, all right. So I look over to my mom, and I try to wake her up to see what was going on, and she, you know, opened her eyes a little bit and was like, you know, just go back to sleep. And she just kind of tossed her way back to sleep. And so I'm looking around, and I'm like, okay, what the fuck is this? All right. So I'm waiting for something to pop out. I'm waiting for something to just show itself, because it just didn't make any sense for me to just be in that dimension and just be next to my mom. And you know, I didn't know that I was astral projecting out of my body. So I'm looking around, and there's a big picture frame in front of the bed, right? And something, just pretend this is the picture frame, and something is popping out right here, right? Something just pops out from the side of the picture frame, right? Like this, right? Right there. And I'm in bed. These are my little feet. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I'm 3, remember? And I'm pissed off, because I'm like, why is this happening? What the fuck is going on? Yo, these mosquitoes is tearing me up, but we're going to get through it. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Right? So the motherfucker sits there, and then it starts to come out. And this is when my heart drops, because I'm like, wait a minute, what the fuck is going on? Wait a minute, what the fuck is this? Oh my God, what the hell is going on? I'm in this bed, I don't know where to go. I'm right next to my mother. What the hell am I gonna do, right? So then it gets closer, you know, it gets out. And it looks just like that, y'all. Whatever I saw, it looked exactly like that. Like this pitch black, dark figure, right? And it pops out and it's like, it looks at me, it's looking at me like that. And then it comes closer, right? It comes closer. And I'm at this point, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What the fuck? And so I start pinching my mama. I start slapping my mama. I'm like, get up. Get up, what the fuck? I don't know, something's in the fucking room. You need to get your ass up right now. She don't get the fuck up. I start pinching. I mean, when I say I was pinching my mama, I was putting all types of energy to pinch her, make sure she was, I was trying to get blood. I was trying to see blood in that second, right? She wouldn't wake up. So I'm like, oh shit. This motherfucking thing, this thing is just coming at me. It's coming at me. I don't know what the hell this is. I don't know where it came from. I don't know I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. This is just coming towards you. You don't know what the fuck, you don't know what that is, right? And then I'm just sitting there confused, scared. What am I gonna do? What is this? I'm pissed off. I'm mad, right? I'm pissed. And then it gets closer. It's exactly what it looked like. And then it gets closer. And right now it's by my feet. It's right by my feet. You know, I had little bitty feet, so that's pretty close. And I remember I got this flashback and my dad was telling me, if you see anything or something's happening and you're scared and you need help, you pray to God and ask God to help you. So I was desperate. I said it on the inside because remember, I knew that this was the entity that kept harassing me and bullying me. So I was like screaming on the inside and I was like, God help me! Help me! God help me!
Help me, somebody help me.
This was all on the inside because I didn't want it to jump at me or some shit, you know. And then this being just showed up and it was like a red, golden, blazing being. And it was so marvelous and immaculate and dynamic that I was like, this is just what my eyes could really try to explain to you what I saw that I could understand to draw. But it was something way more immaculate than this. But it showed up, was like, bitch, what you about to do? What you about to do, bitch? What you think you about to do, bitch? You ain't about to fuck with this one. And then the little bitch started, it screeched, it went, ee! And it ran back behind the picture frame. After that, I felt this instant calm. I just relaxed. And that being stayed there, but it was still in the room, but it was levitating within the room, at the top of the room and above the roof. It was so crazy. It was so radiant that I had to cover my eyes because the light was so, like, it was maddeningly bright. It was like, wow, you know. I felt so calm and so at ease, and it stayed in the room with me to make sure that the thing wasn't going to come back. And that was like the best sleep I've ever had because I knew it was like over me. It was like hugging me. It was like holding me while I was asleep. It was beautiful. That was the best sleep I've ever had in my life, hands down. The next day, everything was really calm, and I hadn't been visited by that entity ever since. So, you know, years later, my mother has this childhood friend that we see on occasion, and you know, he comes to the house and they're talking about this situation. And you know he was telling me, you know, you always used to toss in your sleep. Taylor used to sleep like a brick, and she did. And my brother Elijah, he used to always stay in the bed with my mom. He never slept alone, and I was the one that was always twisting and turning, you know. And so I was like, yeah, that's so true. And I never knew if my mother knew that that entity was up in there bullying me and that it was in the house, period. But I was 3. I didn't know she was experiencing this as well. But she did, you know, because she would talk about it with this childhood friend of hers about what she was going through, what she was experiencing, you know, as an adult, what she was going through while she was taking care of us and while we was in that apartment at that time to this friend. And you know, she was like telling him at that time about this situation while we were chilling with each other. And you know, my mom would be like, when we were staying at La Bel Air apartments, you know, I keep seeing dark shadows. I keep seeing dark shadows at the corner of my eye. The way she was saying dark shadows, okay, we see dark shadows. Even just right now, October, the veil is really thin. So, you know, you're gonna see things sometimes. But at this time, she was like, no, And because of what I saw, it was like, no, like this is a pitch black motherfucking figure, okay? It's not just a shadow. It's not like a little instant where it's like, oh, I just saw something, oh, whatever. No, this was a fucking entity, right? Pitch black, dark, right? Evil, malicious, sinister. Her friend would be like, oh shit, you know, you trying to help her and everything. And then she said, one day I saw the shadow hovering around my kids. And she said, you can fuck with me, but you're not about to fuck with my kids, you know. And, you know, but it kept fucking with me because my ass is sensitive, you know. Been tapped in, you know, especially as a kid, because I was really open. And it was just present, you know. That's just who I was. That helped me put some dots together about what was going on. And when I was 3 and I didn't understand what the hell was going on, it helped me put that together and understand as, you know, I got older, that part of my childhood where I was feeling really tortured. I was feeling really alone. I was feeling really afraid and really hypersensitive, and just my nerves were fucked up, y'all. Oh my God. My poor 3-year-old self. But just imagine you're 3 and you just see this, and then this, and then this. That's me right there going, God help me, on the inside, and the bitch is right there. But this shit happened so quick. It just went boom, popped in the fucking room. It was in the room, it was at the top of the ceiling and outside of the ceiling at the same time, but you can see it. It was just so big. And this motherfucker was like, oh shit, you know. And that's when it went, ee! And ran. Bitch ran. But yeah, crazy shit. But this person still does that stuff and tries to leave shit around my house. And it's just sad, but you know, there's a wound there that I didn't put there, my mother didn't put there. And this person needs to get help, and they need to stop bleeding on people that didn't cause the wound, that's making them put evil and hatred out into the world. That concludes my Halloween story. I'm gonna get the fuck from out here because the mosquitoes are tearing a bitch up, okay? If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, we would love to have you here. And if you have been coming here ever since my first video, you're the best, you're a bomb, and thank you for coming back. If you have any questions that you would like to contact me, all my information is going to be down below. And yeah, until the next video, guys, happy Halloween.